Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. So today was a long day. I do apologize. Today was my Monday, so I worked all day, came home, then took care of the kids while my husband slept before he went to work tonight, and just to do it all over again tomorrow. But welcome back to episode 3 of The Walls Are Closing In. So if you hear the kids in the background, I just put them to bed, so hopefully they'll go to sleep so I can go to sleep. So I have to be up by 1:30 in the morning for my shift. But today's episode, I said I was going to talk about the twins and that pregnancy and how interesting it was, to say the least. So when my son was 4 months old, we took him to a Liberty football game in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And after that, we went over to his godparents' house for dinner, and we had pizza, which is what we did after every football game. And that night, I told Darius, I said, babe, I don't feel good. And he said, oh my God, you're pregnant. I'm like, no. He said, last time you were pregnant, you could not have red sauce because you felt like you were going to throw up. And you're feeling the exact same way again today. So, long story short, I didn't believe him. I went to my OB for my annual, and I jokingly brought it up. He said, well, do you want to take a pregnancy test? I said, no, I'm good. I don't think I am, but if I am, I'll be back to see you. So, fast forward a week later, I was like, you know what? I'm dropping stuff again. Same sign as what I had with my pregnancy with JP. Let me just take a test and find out. So I went to the local grocery store, got a test. Sure enough, it was positive. And when Darius got up in the morning, he saw the pregnancy test and he's like, I knew it. He's like, I knew it, and I know it's going to be twins. And I'm like, no. Of course, discounting everything that he's saying. Fast forward a few weeks later, we went for the first ultrasound. And at that point, it was to get the due date at the hospital, and the due date was July 13th. No, I'm sorry. The due date was July 17th. I'm tired. July 17th, which was exactly 13 months from when JP was born. And they told me it was just one baby. Well, fast forward a few days later, I am so sick. I'm twice as sick as I was when I was pregnant with little man. And I'm like, something is not right. So I went to the specialist that we saw when I was pregnant with JP, and they wanted to do another ultrasound for the dating. And I said, I already know the due date. This is ridiculous. I don't want to do this again. But during that ultrasound, something just didn't look right as I was looking at it. And I'm like, this doesn't look the same way as what JP did around this, age. I think I was maybe eight weeks along. And the nurse was like, I'll be right back. She went and she got our doctor, and the doctor came in. I'm like, I'm happy to see you, but at the same time, what are you doing in here? And at this point, keep in mind, my husband is in LA with my son visiting his mom for a pre-Christmas gift so she could meet JP and everything. And so he was just turning 6 months old at this point. And the doctor was like, well, we're picking up multiple heartbeats. I'm like, what? And he said, yeah. He's like, question is how many? I'm like, oh my gosh. So they're doing the ultrasound. He's like, well, we're definitely picking up 2, possibly 3. I'm like, what? He pressed on my stomach, and that's when the second baby popped out. And then about a half hour later, he confirmed that it was indeed just the 2 baby girls. But at that point, we didn't know they were girls. And he said, well, you're having twins. And at that point, he's like, let me see if there's a membrane or if they're in different sacs. But at that point, he could tell they're in one sac. And he said, let me see if there's a membrane. At that point, there was no membrane to be found. And he said, I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that they're identical? He said, yes. And I said, are they conjoined? He said, that's what I'm looking into right now. So about another 15 minutes later, he confirmed that they were not conjoined. And then that's when he told me that we were having identical mono twins, and that's what he explained what mono was. And he said that they were one sac sharing one placenta but had two umbilical cords, and that we had to set up another appointment to go over the risks that were involved with this type of high-risk pregnancy. He said don't get overexcited because a lot of the pregnancies, about half of them don't survive, and then you will have to go inpatient around 24 to 26 weeks until we deliver around 32, 34 weeks if we get that lucky. And I said, okay, it was a lot of information to take in. So when I left the doctor's, Darius was texting me and he was asking what took you so long. And I called him. I said, well, the babies are due July 17th. He's like, whoa. Did you say babies? I said, yeah, we're having identical twins. He said, I knew it. The moment I knew you were pregnant, I knew that it was going to be twins. So we got a blood test done to see what the genders were, just so we could start planning, because we didn't have a lot of time from the time that we found out around Christmas that we were having twins to the time I would have to go inpatient. So I wanted to know what the genders were and take it from there. So we found out that they were girls, and we met with the doctor, and he was explaining to us the risks that are associated with mono twins, how the cords can get entangled or will be entangled. There's a chance that the babies won't make it, so don't get too excited. A lot of them are going to be born premature. They will be spending time in the NICU if they both survive. You know, one may survive, one may not survive. The worst thing I did is I went to Google, and whoever is pregnant with mono twins, do not Google. That is the worst thing you could ever do. It put the fear of God in me, because all you hear are these horror stories. And I am in a phenomenal mono support group, because these kind of pregnancies are so rare. It's hard to find people that have mono who actually know what you're going through, especially when you're told the news and you're told to not get excited, don't buy anything until after the kids are born, so you know if they're both going to survive, and you don't know how long they're going to be in the NICU for, so on and so forth. So fast forward, we had many doctor's appointments, more so than what I had with JP, because of the high-risk pregnancy that it was. And we already knew what we were going to name them, and we were waiting to announce the names. Obviously we told the family, but my one daughter is Cora Dolores, after my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, and my other daughter is June Joanne, who is named after both of my grandmas that are now in heaven, that both passed on. And so we did that to honor them, just like my son is named after my dad and my husband. So we try to keep the family names in the family. And when we found out that we were pregnant with the twins, obviously we told the family. We were hesitant in announcing it to the public because of what the doctors told us, but we just kept praying and believing. You know, we're like, you know what, God, again, I wasn't even supposed to be pregnant at all without medical help, and because of you, I was able to conceive the twins naturally, and by your grace, we are believing and having faith that both these girls are going to survive. So around Christmas, at Christmas time, we made the announcement that we were pregnant with the twins, and we did this whole video thing and put it on Facebook for the announcement, and that's how we announced it to the public. And we just kept praying every day over the babies that they would both survive and thrive. Fast forward again, the doctor really wanted me to gain roughly about 30 to 40 pounds, because the fact that they were going to be born prematurely, that I needed to have them gain as much weight as possible. He said that we will be giving you steroid shots while you're inpatient to help with the lung development. And again, the goal was to make it to 32 weeks, at the max 34, depending on what happens. So I'll go into all those details about what happened in the inpatient stay and all of that during episode 4. But just some advice out there for any moms that are pregnant with mono twins: don't Google. Find a support group that you guys can join and ask questions there. And I'm in a group on Facebook. They are phenomenal. They are so supportive. They answer any questions that may seem a little ridiculous, you know, like, hey, I know I already have a kid, but when did you guys start giving your twins Cheerios and stuff like that? But then there's also parents in there that have lost their mono twins around 20 weeks before they even went inpatient. So you definitely see a lot of sad news, but you also see a lot of happy and exciting news as well. But don't let that get you down, guys. Just keep your faith. Keep praying over those babies that they're going to be okay. And just know that God did not give you those twins without a reason. He has a reason. He specifically chose you to be the parent of those mono twins. And it's the best gift you could have ever received. Is it tough? Absolutely. But is it worth it? Yes, it is. So again, guys, thank you for joining. Please subscribe below. Again, during episode 4, I will go into more detail as to, you know, the weight gain that the doctor wanted me to do and what happened in the inpatient stay, and so on and so forth, and just give you more information at that time. Hope you guys have a great night. Again, subscribe below so you can keep following our journey, and have a great night, guys. Bye.